Okay. As promised, I said I would make a second video. Just to let you guys know, this is why I take my glasses off during videos. I'm gonna work on correcting my eyesight. I know your mind can correct it, and I read a really old book that explained from this to eye doctors, because I don't know the official word for it, but it was talking about how your eyes nearsighted and farsighted isn't true, but it is that your brain doesn't recognize content. And so some people's brain, when they try to use their eyes to look at the content, they don't focus. So your eyes are like lenses, like camera lenses to a camera. And so it's not necessarily that the lenses are messed up, it's just they're out of focus. And I got off on a tangent about eyesight, but anyways, that's why I don't wear my glasses. Normally I have these on, and they're reading glasses. I should wear glasses. But even since I was a kid, I have a lazy eye. I'm legally blind in my eye. What eye? This the eye. Legally blind. I don't believe I'm blind because I can see colors and shapes. I just can't see words. So I guess it's considered to be useless. I call it my special eye. Then maybe there's a uniqueness to it. Maybe it's not the way it is because it needs to be what it is not. I don't know. Maybe it helps my brain do something else. Maybe if I was to fix it, there would be a problem. I don't think there would be a problem though. And that brings me to a good start to where we're going to talk. So basically, uh, everybody is not made equal. When I say this, I had a strong belief for a very long time that everybody was made equal. And when I say that, it's hard to really say that because it makes it seem like somebody's more special, like in the hierarchy, and I don't believe that. So what I'm trying to say is that, like earlier, there's some people that was born with bad eyesight, right? Some people might be born with speech problems, okay? And this is something I've thought about, but as I talk, I usually just talk. I don't really premeditate what I'm talking about. I just get on the camera when I feel it. That's probably why I don't make my videos as much as I should, is because I don't feel like every day I feel it. I don't feel like every day that I can speak from the spirit and it be the spirit. I feel like my mind will overtake, and it's important to only speak when I'm to you guys when my spirit really feels like it needs to. And I've been denying it for like a month or two. It's been telling me to talk about stuff, but I haven't. And now I have like a million, I have like 2 hour videos now. I'm uploading the other one while I'm making this one. So where am I going with this? Let's get this back on track. This is why I don't speak unless I'm ready to speak. But okay, so where am I going to start with everything? Okay, so I'll tell you guys about my life real quick, and I'll tell you where I got from, where I went, and how I got here, and so on and so forth. My mom and my dad split up when I was like 9 or 10, and I've always moved from state to state to state to state. I was not an army child. I didn't really have any friends, so to speak. I didn't have best friends. I had friends, but you can't really keep a relationship with a friend when you're moving from state to state to state. It just doesn't happen when you're 13 and 14. You just find new friends, you know? So I met a lot of people, and I went to a lot of different schools, and I seen a lot of different places, and I really enjoyed it at that time because I could just, each time I left, I could rebuild myself. So I was always changing, even at that time. And I didn't realize what was happening until now. Like, I'm telling you guys, my purpose, what I was doing, was nothing for myself. I wanted to save people, and I cared nothing about myself. I stopped, going outside. I stopped having friends. I stopped having a life. All I did was work and research. Like, that was it for like the past 7, 8 years. My relationship that I had suffered at many times, but I do believe that that person is very important, because if it wasn't for them and them being the way that I wouldn't possibly have been here. You know, they helped me a lot. And I know on my video, on my post, I explained to a lot of people that we separated, and that's true. And I love that person dearly. That person will always have a significant meaning to me, but things move and you progress, and I felt that there was a time to progress and move, and it had nothing to do with them. They're perfect. They're not abusive, they're not liars, they're not anything. They're the way that they are, and I appreciate them, and they're going to continue to be the way they are, and they're going to help a lot of people and bring beautiful things to their life, just like I have my purpose. Um, but basically I went through uh, a lot of stuff. I had a lot of people abuse me and try to tell me that I'm a little crybaby and that I had to be tough and I was too weak and I was too nice. I got that a lot. Growing up, I was always told I was too nice. Like, are you kidding me? How can you be too nice in this world? But I guess when you're around a bunch of assholes, that's how it happens. But anyways, I always was called spaz because I spazzed out about everything. Even when I was a kid, I was just always thinking. My mom is schizophrenic. She can see stuff, basically, and she's about 50 something. So at her time and day, they didn't have the information that we have now about people hearing stuff and seeing stuff and it just being a spiritual thing. It's not nothing to do with craziness. And of course, the system wants to make money off of people like them, and they didn't want to deal with them because if they accepted that stuff was real and it got out to this public, and then all this stuff would just trickle from there. But it's happening now, so better now than never. But anyways, she is a very special person. I didn't talk to her for 10 years. I wouldn't have a chance. I didn't have a choice, actually. Um, I didn't have a choice in talking to her because my father moved us and we wasn't allowed to talk to her. He was like, "Oh, she's crazy." I grew up with a very old school Baptist family. At one point, I lived in a foster home because my dad was going through things. I took care of my dad and my brother all my life. I woke up in the morning, I took care of my dad, I took care of my brother, I got him ready for work, I got him ready for school. I made his breakfast, I made his lunch, I made their dinner. I didn't have after school activities. So a lot of my life was about learning how to take care of myself, which I'm thankful for. If it wasn't for that, I wouldn't have been able to take care of myself and do what I'm doing now. I would have learned trying to take care of myself. So it's like my life has been building me up to understand stuff and take care of myself from very young. So when I lived in the foster family, they were very old school Baptists as well. I couldn't wear pants. They wanted me to burn CDs of music that they considered evil. I had to wear dresses or skirts all the time. They didn't even want skirts to be worn, really. They believed in dresses, and it all, and my life could have went so many different ways, you guys. Like, when I look up my horoscope and stuff, like, not my horoscope, but like my birthday, like when the time that you was born and the day and where you was at is very significant. The reason why it's significant is aligns with certain planets, and as above, so below. So these planets have a pull on people's personalities and things like that. Whether they want to believe it or not, it's true. I've seen it like on full moon days, like people's energy is just weird. There's different things that you have to be conscious, like certain holidays. I don't celebrate holidays at all. I don't celebrate Christmas. The only thing I used to celebrate was my birthday, and I don't even care about that really. But at the same time, it's significant because that was the day that you were birth into the physical realm. So I do feel like there's a significance to it out of all the stuff. And holidays, I just pretty much believe that every day is a holiday. Like every day I'm living, so why make it a special day? Really, it's just days for financial reasons. They want you to spend a whole bunch of money on Thanksgiving, Christmas, and a lot of the reasons that people celebrate these holidays is not even for the reasons that they think. And then they do it on certain days of the year when there's certain astrology and planets aligned and energies a certain way. So it's a lot to it. I've studied it for quite a few years, but it doesn't matter. It's your intent. But at the same time, it does matter because there's a basic energetic intent. So I'll start off with that. So I had a big issue with, well, not issue, but I had a question. What am I? And that led me to understand what is in the world. I am energy. The world is energy. The rocks, the trees, the birds, the flowers, animals, plants, all of it, they all are beings in some form or fashion. And because everything is not created equal, they all are significant, but they all have different significance about them. Like crystals, for example. Crystals they're very special in certain ways because they can hold they have their own energetic intent, So some of them are powerful, like, and helping you. Some of them are healing. Some of them, they, they block things. Some of them, they pull things. And I believe they're just there to help and co-create with us. They're not to be thought of as, I'm the reason I can do this is because of that stone. That stone is here to co-create with you. Um, Plants, I know for a fact that they have an intelligence. There was a scientific study done on it. I think it was The Secret Life of Plants, I think it's called. And it's an old movie. And basically, they did a test where they put these sensors on the plants and they were hurting another plant in a completely different room. And like the sensors was going crazy. And they had multiple experiments on it. And there's been more experiments, it's just not talked about, of course. And that's the whole thing about this. I'll get to this in a second. But so basically, what they was expressing is that we are energy and we affect the energy of these plants and animals and all this. And I think this world has been in a lot of pain because we don't understand how connected we are. When you cause pain to an animal, you cause pain to yourself. Now, that doesn't mean you walk around and you can't eat any plants because you're like, oh my God, they're going to cry when I'm eating them. It's not like that. I think it's the intent. The intent was to hurt that plant. And so the plants was upset. But that's why in the Avatar, it was very significant. They showed something that you connect and it's your intent. And when they went to, they would kill the animals and eat them, but it was a sacred way. And it wasn't because of religion. It was because they understood what they are and what everything is around them. And because they are sacred, these animals were sacred, and they understood that if they partaked in eating them, they would make them significant. So what they would do is before they would kill the animal or before they would slice it, they would catch it. But then they would, do a prayer over it and say, thank you for the, whatever you're going to provide me. Now, as far as eating animals, I don't think that's where we started off as, because you can get protein and all of that. I've done a long study on that. And you can get protein from plants, and more significant than even meat. So it's a big lie about, and eat protein is actually a lie. If you look up Dr. Sebi, he was explaining that protein, they don't even know where protein comes from. He was talking to scientists and he was like, yeah, so you talk about this protein, what makes up the protein? And they would say this, okay, what makes that up? I don't know. So how the hell are you going to, how have you been telling people for like 10, 15 years, eat protein, and you don't even know what the fuck it is? Like, this is why people, you cannot just believe all this external shit. You have to think about it, but then you have to let it go. When you think, you come to your conclusion, then you let it go. And if you hold on to it, it keeps your energy built up. It makes knots inside of you. And that's why with meditation and things is that you're letting go of these blocks. You're letting go of these things that you might that you're holding on to. And that's why they're talking about letting go of these ideals about religion, is they're energetic blocks. Now, whoever chooses to do so, they're going to choose to do so. That's fine. I'm not here to fight with anybody and tell them that they're right or wrong, because again, there's no right or wrong way. That would make me a hypocrite. But again, it's going back to the same point of, if you're going to a place, why take 30 years to get to that place when you can take 5 or 2 or 1 or 6 months? It makes no sense. Now, just like there is, okay, let's say that there's no road. Okay, this is my favorite thing. This is going to be a perfect analogy. I just thought of this. So this is what I do. So I look at all the roads and I say, okay, so this road was the quickest. But this road, this, and I look at all of them. I'm like, okay, well, this long road had beautifulness to it. This road had this. So what I do is I make my own road. I'm like, okay, so this road had this road had this. Well, why not bring all of this together? Let me build a road that takes in the scenery and is shorter. And that's what I'm doing. That's what co-creation is making something new. And it's not really new. It's just hasn't been done, hasn't been did. Like, you're not, people, they thought of it and they felt it, but they didn't do it because somebody else was doing something already that made them feel that that intent was wrong. But there is no wrong or right. It's just a new way of doing something. Really, it's not even new though. And this is why a lot of gurus, they don't get on camera and they talk about this stuff. See, I am my being. I don't claim myself to be a guru or shaman, none of that. Now, I want to help people. and I'm going to help people, and I want to help myself, and I'm just going to go along while I'm helping myself. I'm going to help people. I'm going to explain. I had to go through a point where I struggled because I didn't want to get paid to help, because I haven't paid for any of my knowledge. All of it is free. This is, the past week is the first time I paid for anything. I donated to a guru. I donated some money to them. And then I actually paid for 2 classes. It's on the Shift Network. And that was because I felt it was ready. And the reason why I'm paying for them is because I'm building my network with these people. And this guru is very interesting. I want to co-create with this person because they understand things beautifully in a different way. And I feel their intent, and I also feel the other stuff too. But that's a whole nother conversation. So basically what I'm trying to say is that I'm not right, I'm not wrong, but I'm just sharing what I'm seeing. I like to take from everything and find the best route, so to speak. And it's not even the best route. It was just my ideal. Okay. It's just an ideal. I'm just creating it. So I can energy heal people. I can meditate. I can do that. I can feel all these things people are talking about. I've seen them. I didn't realize this stuff. I was denying it for so long. I didn't understand what was happening, and now I do, and I'm owning it. That's why I'm here. I had a big problem with paying for stuff. So I come to a conclusion that I'll take donations at one point in the future. This is way in the future. Like when I start doing energy healing, because I have a vision and I'm manifesting that vision right now. I made this group. I made these videos. I've been slowly manifesting my intent. And it's happening as I happen. And it cannot be done until it is not. And so things are happening the way that they need to happen. I got scared for a second. I wasn't recording and I was talking to myself for 17 minutes. Okay. So, I looked at it at 17. Well, I messed up now. What made me want to look at that? It was 6:52 and then, anyways, let me get back to where I was going. So, I'm going to write that down. I think it was 17:01 time at 6:52. Okay, let me explain what I'm doing real quick. Numbers is another form of expression, and I don't give much merit to them until recently. I've been looking at them, and it's interesting because every time it's not every number. There's like this feeling I get, and it's like, look this up. And I almost will, like I said in my other video, I've been ignoring for so long my intuition that I now haven't been ignoring it. And when I look up these things or I just do it, it's happening. And everybody can do this. It's like I went and seen, I have to get back to where I was going because this is what happens. I am. Okay. I started to feel my brain take over. I had to stop it. Okay. So, my life, I went through those things. And I had to go through where a lot of people kept telling me, I have to be this way, I have to be that way. You know, there's certain core things that I remember. There's no such thing as I can't. And you can do anything you put your mind to. That stuck with me my whole life. And cleaning, OCD, because I have OCDness because of my father. But I've worked on that because, so what ended up happening is that at age 16, well, my whole life I've been studying things about psychology and learning people for a very long time. I wanted to understand people. I understand that now it's because I wanted to understand myself. But really, my thought at the time was I want to understand people. And that stemmed from my family telling my mom had schizophrenia. I didn't understand why she was the way she was and why my father said the way she was and things like that. And because of what I went through growing up with people abusing me and bullying me and telling me I'm this and that. And I really believe that there is things in this world that I either see, I have to really, this is something I still fight with, because I guess part of me probably does feel like a little bit of a victim still. Because if I didn't, I wouldn't have to sit here and debate myself on whether that was intentional. So let me stop this right now. I'm going to do something on camera. I'm just going to show y'all how I do this. I am not a victim, yet I am a victim. I went through these things to learn. The reason why I went through these things is that way I can understand them and help myself help others. There is no parasite in the system, yet there is a parasite in the system. I accept what was done. I accept that these beings said what they said because I wanted to learn something. I let go of being a victim. I let go of feeling victimized because I know I chose that to learn. Okay, I release the energetic hold of feeling like a victim. I completely release it and understand what it is, and understand that things may happen, but it is my will and my choice so I can learn. Okay. So I pretty much do that type of thing in meditation. Sometimes I will just stop myself and do that when I feel things like you guys just seen. I don't know it's there until it happens. And that's why this, even though I can find the best route, it's still never going to be your route, because you're going to, even if I want all of my pain to surface, I'll meditate and I'll ask for that. But it's, my body is only going to give me what I can handle. And if I can't handle it at that time, it's going to give me something to help me progress to where I need to go. And so what I've noticed is that sometimes, even though I want to just beat all the blocks out of myself, it just won't happen like that. They'll just come as I try. And as long as you try, you'll be able to address them. And the more you try, the faster you'll address them. And there is no time. When I say fast and slow, it's not relative to 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. It could be moments. It could just be everything in 2 minutes. But you wouldn't know it until you try. But where I was going with this is that I've realized is that all of these things that I went through, they were to make me stronger, not stronger, but teach me. And you either take it as feeling like the victim or you learn from it. I had to, because I was so kind and because I was smart and because I understood things differently than people, I had to meet people and go through things that was different because I wouldn't be able to relate to them. And not only that, I would not learn my lessons. There's a limit, okay? There's a limit to how much a person can be used, okay? I am nothing, so you cannot take anything, but yet I am everything. What a paradox. But what I'm trying to say is that they can only take what I allow them to take. So if a person is using you, you can either be mad about that and then be mad at them, or you think about why they're using you and how it helps them. Because ultimately I want them to help. And as long as they're not destroying me in the process, that's fine. But in me, what I'm saying is that my spirit, not this body, because I've gone through things where they physically destroyed my body. They physically took advantage of my body. And it took a lot for me to understand that that was another lesson. That is another thing I had to get through. You know, being raped or being abused or being homeless, a strong, powerful, energetic things that can either break you and you don't come back from it, or it breaks you and you're even stronger. And that's what I had to go through. So I started learning about psychology and everything. And then at about 17, um, at 16, I met a woman, and her name, and we was talking, and we ended up dating. And for a whole year, I didn't tell my parents because I knew what was going to happen. Well, my dad ended up getting with a woman like 24 or 25. She was 24 or 25. And another thing is she was part of the plan. I didn't want to be with my parents' house. I didn't want to be dogmented by religion. Like, I had started learning about psychology and people and how the health industry, and my dad, he was a bigger gentleman, and so he wanted to eat all this horrible food all the time, and I'm like, I felt like a victim at that time, and I felt like a victim because I was stuck in their house. But then I felt like I wasn't stuck in their house. I can leave at any time. And I tried twice. I was like, okay, I'm leaving, and I moved out. Well, I went right back because the cops came and got me and said, you can't be out of your parents' house. And I'm like, well, you can tell them to stop living like savages and I'll stay. But my thing is that I wanted to be out of my parents' house. So my stepmom ended up finding a website where I was on there for women. Now, right 2 weeks before she found this, me and this me and the girl, she ended up being taken to another state. Long story short, that was the first person I loved that deeply, and the first person that treated me the way I wanted to be treated. I had never, even though I had love, it was not the love that I knew should be. You know, she listened, we talked. There was barriers, but she exemplified what I wanted to be. What it was is I felt like I was a mean person. Like, I was nice, but at the same time I was mean, and that was because I was so defensive, because if I felt that if I was nice, then people would use me. And people told me that all the time. If you're nice, people just walk all over you. So you got to be stern with them. You got to put your foot down. I didn't feel like I had to put my foot down. Why do I have to be mean to everybody first for you to like me or for you to treat me good? If you're not going to treat me nice and treat me like a human because I'm nice, then I don't want to be your friend. I don't want to be associated with you. You can try to dog me all you want. You're only dogging yourself. Like somebody said, you're only rude if you have something inside of you that you're lacking. I don't feel like I have to be rude. I don't care what color you are. I don't care what being you are. I don't care your religion. You can claim to be whatever religion you want to be. I see who you are. When I look into your eyes, I know who you are. When I look into you, I look into your soul. I look into your being. When I look at you, I see none of your physical. I am looking at your being, who you are. And you can't hide any of that. You can't. You can pretend all you want. But I come to find out that I think I just bring out in people their true selves, because I'll sit there and I just watch everybody interact with these people, and they're like, oh, you're such a special person, you're so kind, you're so this. And then when I meet them, I hit these chords in them, and I think it's because of my energy. I really do come in a pure form that is not pure. The paradox. And I do believe that I see myself as clear energy, and I reflect everything. And what happens is that when I come around people, I feel like I strum certain chords in them that most people don't strum, and I see the real them like this. When I was like 14, I started feeling people's emotions, and I started observing how I could feel how people feel, but I didn't understand how they thought. And that's why I was so worried about thinking, is because I would get these people and I would feel the anger in them, and I would think that it's coming from us, right? And then I would be mad at them because I was like, oh, they're angry at me and they're lying. And then I was like, oh, you know what? I'm not letting them finish their sentence. Like, I'm not letting them create what's happening. And then some people, they don't want to tell you why they're mad. And some people are liars. They will sit there and pretend they like you and they don't. Or they have, a lot of people paint picture, okay, I'm this saying where a first impression is everything. It's true, but it's bullshit. I fucking hate it, because I can meet you one time and you can seem like the sweetest person in the world. Well, here, let me tell you something right now. I met a lot of people that they call sweet, and that they call nice. And they are fantastic actors. What I feel in their energy is nothing far from sweet, not far from freaking innocent, far from being truthful. When I sit there and talk with that person, I can feel their energy. I can feel that they're faking. I can feel this. I don't know how to say it. It's just, I know you're a liar. I know that you're not telling the truth. I know there's something you're hiding. And a lot of people, they're so hidden, they don't even know they're hidden to themselves. Like I come across somebody and I was like, you feel this, this, and this. Because I'm very open about who I am. I was like, yeah, you feel this and this and this. They're like, no, you're wrong. So I was like, okay, I'm wrong. I can be wrong. I prove me wrong. I don't care. Like, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. If I'm right, I'm right. I don't care about being neither. I mean, it helps if you're right, because then you don't, people can understand you more. But hey, prove me wrong. So I observed them, and I didn't even have a connotation. I was like, you know what? I'll let go of the energetic intent. I'll really give them a real chance. 3 months later, they were doing exactly what I felt within the first 3 minutes. It's just they couldn't pretend. See, the thing about people is they can pretend for quite a long time, and I've met some really good pretenders, and this is all leading to manipulation. I'm talking about this. Okay, when I was 17, I got kicked out. Okay, I was homeless. My family didn't talk to me. All of them said I was an abomination, and that they didn't love me, and that they would never love me, and that I'm no longer part of their family, and all this other stuff. So I had no family. And 2 weeks later, my dad and stepmom and my brother moved after they kicked me out. And then my family didn't want to talk to me. So I ended up staying with this girl. I went to volleyball camp. And right around this time, my father was like, okay, you have 3 choices. You can go to the school and not be gay. You can go live with your grandma, which she was an old school Baptist. For those of you that know what that means, then you know I was going to be beat and I was going to have a life. I was going to be writing Bible scriptures every day. Or my third choice was I got out. I can leave. And this is what I told her. And I still remember this conversation today. I didn't cry. I wasn't mad. I wasn't anything, really. I felt sorry for him. And this is what I said. I said, Dad, who I love does not matter. I said, who I'm with does not matter. I am still the same child that got you up from the morning. I am still the same child that took care of you and my brother. I am still the same child that gets straight A's in school. I am still the child that never wants to miss school. I am still the child that don't sneak out the house. I am still the child that is your child. But you have made a decision to have conditional love. And I said, you know what? The being that I come from doesn't hate a person for their decisions. The being that I come from accepts it all because they understand that's part of progress. And I left. I packed all my stuff. That day I was told to get out, they were packing to move. I didn't know it was going to be 2 weeks from then. I thought that they were just getting ready. I don't know. But anyways, so long story short, I ended up in Washington, D.C. by myself. And I ended up becoming a stripper. I ended up being a prostitute. I ended up being on the streets, having no place to stay for months. And it was one of Washington, D.C.'s worst winter. I wanted to go to D.C. because I felt like out of all the places, Washington, D.C. would have the most resources as far as getting help. And I didn't really realize I had no understanding of what life was. I really didn't. I understood that I wanted to help people and help myself, but other than that, that's it. I wasn't on a life mission. I didn't know I was going to do this at that time. I didn't know who Kayla was. I knew that Kayla wanted to follow only of what she felt on the inside. And I was always like that. I got so many arguments with my dad because he would sell me stuff and I would think about it and I would be like, that's not true. Like, why are you telling me this? That's your opinion. Why do I have to believe your opinion? And we would get arguments. He would be like, you're a back talking ass child. And I would get smacked all the time and grounded. Like I didn't have a childhood because if I didn't clean something right, I would be grounded and stuff. And it's like, okay, well, I can't be perfect. And that's something I'm going to talk about with y'all. Sorry, I have to readjust myself. But anyways, So I went through that. I got into a transitional program, and in that transitional program, I ended up getting my GED. I ended up getting a job, and the people I was staying with right before that, she had took all my stuff, and she had took my birth certificate, social security, and I went back, and she had hid all of it, so I never got any of that back. So basically, I ended up learning to let go of material things, and I had to let go of what I thought I loved and who I was at 17 in a very dramatic way. And I was angry. I was really angry. I felt like a victim. And then somebody told me this. It's not about what you go through. It's not about why you go through it. It's not about who you went through it with, but how strong you are to get through it. And when she told me that, I was like, heck yeah, I'm a strong motherfucker. Excuse my language for those that bothers it. But I was a strong person then. Because, I went through more in my life than I've talked to most 40, 50-year-olds. So I ended up getting to the program, and it was named Sasha Bruce, and in Washington D.C. And basically, I took the initiative to get myself into a 2 to 3 year program where I could live in a house in an apartment with somebody, and the program paid for it. I just had to go to school and stuff. I had to get rid of my phone. I went through so much crap through that program because when I started living with people, they didn't want to help themselves. They were dirty. They wanted me to pay for their groceries. They wanted me to pay for their toilet paper. And again, I didn't know how to live with these people. I didn't know how to live. Like, I was doing things that people considered rude and disgusting, but I just did what I always knew how to do. So long story short, chase through all that. Here I am now. I went through another period of being homeless when I believed in this exterior. God bless. I thought the world was going to end a couple years ago, and I really believed it. I really believed it. I quit my job, and I was like, okay, well, I don't need to have a job because the world's going to end in a couple months. Like, what the hell? I'm going to live it up. So I quit my job, and I stopped paying my bills. And most bills will take a couple months before they cut your stuff off. So I had internet and everything. So for 3 months, I lived without time. I got rid of all my clocks. I, I see now why I did this. I got rid of all my clocks. I got rid of anything that had dealt with dates and time. I just stopped paying attention at all. The only reason I literally just stopped. And it's so crazy now I'm thinking about this because I didn't really think about it in this way until now. But anyways, I really stopped time. It's possible. Just stop looking at time. But this world makes it to where you focus on time and numbers and dates. And I could feel, this is the only way I can explain it. There would be days where I could feel how slow it was. There would be days I could feel how fast it was. There was one day that I literally felt time stop. Time is an energy, okay, you guys? Time is not numbers. Time is an energy. It is its own thing. Wow, I didn't think about this until now. Time is its own thing, you guys. Like, it has nothing to do with these numbers. It has nothing to do with these calendars. I just thought about it. Because if I didn't look at time, how could I feel time? Like, how could I feel time stop if I'm not paying attention to stop time? You know what I mean? Huh. I'm not thinking anything right now. I'm just being in the now. I didn't. Well, this is why I do it when my spirit says do it, because you guys are literally seeing how I process stuff. There is no time, but time is an energy. That's exactly what it is. That makes sense. Look at that. A clock. I meant somebody calling me. Hold on 1 second. Hello? Hey, I'm doing a video right now. Can I call you back? Okay. All right, cool. Thank you. Bye. Okay. 7:15. I'm gonna write that down. See that earlier it was 17:01 at 6:52, and it's 7:15. What I see, numbers is not time. Numbers is somebody was talking to me about numbers. It's all coming together. This is what I'm talking about, you guys. I this is so perfect. Okay. So just the other day, this is called synchronization. Just the other day, I was talking with somebody and they said numbers is another manifestation of ether. Time is not numbers. Okay? I get it now. I get it, but I don't get it. Like, there's a synchronization to help me understand the two, but the nous is what understands the two. There's like this feeling right now I have on the inside that says, I know, but I can't form it into words to explain it to you guys, okay? I apologize. I can only explain that, like, it's not numbers. So one night I felt like time stopped, okay? And I put it on my Google Plus. I was like, I literally just felt time stop. And it was for like, I don't know how long, like maybe 30 minutes or an hour or something. And see, again, I don't know because I wasn't paying attention to time, but it felt like there was a stillness in the energy, okay? And like during the day, I could feel it shifts within the energy of the universe. I know this sounds so bizarre, but I'm trying to explain it. But it's not going to work because what is not explainable. But I'm trying because I know there's other people that's felt this. And this is why I'm trying to share, is because people feel this, but we need to verbalize it. And it's not to tell you how to think and feel or what to do, but this is just to let each other know that you're not crazy. This is the reality. What we're doing every day is crazy. Like going to work, paying these bills is crazy. I have a video on YouTube where this is going to go. And I talked about no systems. At first, I thought the solution to all their problems is getting rid of all these systems. Okay? If we don't have money, if we don't have like the things the way they are, I felt that everything would correct itself. And it's crazy, there was a movie they put out with the Matrix, I mean not the Matrix, the X-Men. And what the guy said, there is no systems. And when I watched that movie, that scared the holy shit out of me. Because I was like, I haven't seen anybody talk about this the way that I am. And here this video is, and it's just, there was just like this, I felt like it was somebody trying to explain something to me, and I got it. I understood it before I seen that video. But I had an energetic push. I was like, I want to destroy everything. And then I realized, if I destroy everything, we'll have a line of people willing to fill these spots and rebuild it. There's a Rick and Morty episode. For those that watch Rick and Morty, I freaking love that show. He's so crazy, he always burps. But anyways, in Rick and Morty, he went to another planet and he killed the elite. And he said, okay, here y'all go. You guys are free. Within the first 10 minutes, they started killing each other to figure out what system would be the best. And they made a new group of elite. Yep, they made a new group. And so I thought about it. I said, you know what? They're right. If we got rid of all the money, if we got rid of everything, nothing would change except the exterior. That is the problem, is you have to go internal. And voila, here I am talking about internal, and some other people talking about it. And that's what I mean about the system trying to be hijacked, is they realize that somebody's brain clicked, sent the information out, and now it's happening. And so they're trying to change it. And it's not going to work, because my intent is not to manifest that. And my intent is like a domino effect. It's like if a whole room of people have an idea and I come in there and I say something different, the first reaction is going to be their egos. They're going to deny it. I'm already to the point where, okay, I'll walk out the room. I won't fight with them. But I planted the seed in every person's mind, and they're going to have their own expression of that. And it changes just by that. Who knows? I could go back to that place in 3 years from now and they'll be like, Kayla, it made sense. I'm so sorry. Like I have customers get on my phone and they will cuss me out. They will say so much to me. I just let them and I say, I understand why you're mad, but I need you to listen to me. I want to help you, but you have to allow me to help you. You have to help yourself, okay? I understand why you're mad and I will, gain agreement and align with them about how they're mad. And I will assure them, I will try my best to assist themselves. But that is a guru right there. Is you're showing them how to help, but they have to do it themselves. But in life, it's not as easy as, okay, you need to go down the street, take a left. You can't tell them you have to do it this way because then that's an external view of your internal. And your internal is different from my internal. And that's what's so special. You are as free as you want to be. You are not a victim. You can make your own business if you want to. This was my problem with making my own business. I felt like, well, my business won't be like these big businesses out here. How can I live off of it? That's the problem. I don't want a big business. That's not how it works. That is hierarchy again. There's billions of people in this world. All I need is about 300 people that come to me every month. Not even 300 people. I could have 100 people that come to me every month. Donate whatever they want to me, whether it's $30 or $40 or $20. And if I have those people, I can pay the necessities, okay? I'm not a victim. Now, I can spend less money in the system. I can go to mom and pop stores and buy stuff from them. I can make my own laundry detergent. I don't have to buy these expensive brands. I can find a seamstress and I can go to Goodwill and buy my clothes. I can live in a cheap old apartment. I could bounce house to house. There's so many things, but you're not going to have to do that. See, when you put your will in the greater will of all, like for everybody, life takes care of you. When I was homeless and since I've been on my own, I could have been killed. I could have been a crack whore. I could have been so many things, but that was not my purpose. And my purpose was to help myself so I could help people. And so life aligned things to me. And because I seen them, I took them. And this brings me to something I'll finish this with. There's a joke that says, this guy goes to heaven and he meets God and he says, why didn't you save me, God? God looked at him and said, I sent you a boat, I sent you a car, and I sent you a plane. I was waiting for you to help me. Well, what the hell do you think the boat and the plane and the car was for, you moron? That's what I'm trying to say, is that it's not going to say, I want money. Poof, here's all this money. That's not intent. You saying, I want to help people, and then don't help yourself. That's not intent. That won't work like that. You can't do that. If you say, I want to be rich, rich in what? Energy doesn't know what rich means. If you say, I want to help people, What do they mean? What do you mean? Energy doesn't understand what, okay, helping people is going to manifest all types of shit that you can help with. I kept saying I want to help people. I kept having people that was homeless that needed a place to stay. And they didn't want to help themselves. So you know what I said? I don't want to help anybody that don't want to help themselves. So guess what happened? I had somebody that kind of wanted to help themselves. Then I finally realized I don't want people living with me, period. I'll help them help themselves by giving them resources where they can do so. And guess what? Ain't shit came around because ain't shit ready to do that. And I've had a few people, come up to me and say, do you know how to get this or that? And I'm like, yeah. When I was in a transitional program, I learned how to get my resources. I had to learn how to do things myself. If I wanted to eat, I had to get food stamps or whatever I needed to do. These programs is not good or bad. It's just what you do with them. Did I want to be on government assistance forever? No, I'm not on government assistance right now. I'm 24 years old and I pay my rent. I pay my groceries. I pay my bills. Do I pay them on time? Fuck no, because that's their rules. Do I have to pay your shit on time? No. If I can pay if I don't have, if there's something I need to invest in now, that's for my food or for water or for my well-being, that rent will stay there. And that rent will sit right there. And I'll incur a late fee all the fuck they want. And I'll pay that goddamn late fee. And they can be mad as fuck about me not paying rent on time. But do I give a fuck? No. Because they're still getting their money. I don't have to do it on their time. I don't have to do anything on anybody's time. I do it on my time. Now work, I struggle with that. Because I really don't want, I work in a call center. And I do stuff for people. But I'm so tired of helping people that don't want to help themselves. Like, people call all the time. And it's like, why didn't you read a manual? Why would you just take somebody's words for it? Like, why didn't you look this up yourself? Oh, like, what is wrong with you? And then I think it's the system. It's just how people think. And that's why I've come to a conclusion that people know this information about being internal. And see, these cults and stuff that people talk about is they all do the same. Okay, so what's a good example? The Masons, okay, for example, and Christians, okay? There's a hierarchy to both. A preacher, there's levels, okay? What they don't realize is that they're doing the same thing. They're externalizing a God. They have to go through that God to be who they are. They can't just be. That's what it is that there's all these variations of externalities that give you the thought that you need this person to do this thing. This person can be a catalyst, okay? This person can help you get to where you're at, but you cannot internalize that external. You co-create, okay? I am a servant to no one. I am a student to no one but myself. I am not, nobody's my master. Nobody is my special key, okay? I'm my own key. They just might be able to show me, oh, Kayla, you're holding the key the wrong way. Duh. Thank you. I appreciate you. Like, I should have freaking known I had the key the wrong way. But at the same time, I might look at that key and say, wait, you're right. I was holding it the wrong way. But did you know you can also hold it this way? Now, this is where I'm finding people have problem, is that they found a way, but they are unwilling to understand your way that gets the same results. They just want to believe their way. That's what co-creation is about. That's what inward source is about. That's what holarchy is about, is understanding that each individual is a unit and each individual unit has their own deal of expression. And I value all of your expressions because ultimately it leads to the all. But why can't we just all hunker down and just think about a different way to do this? Why? Okay. We can't have a government system that just takes control of everything. You have to be in control of yourself, because if you give power to a group of people, they make decisions for you. And then you have to go to these group of people and convince them of your decision. I don't have to explain myself to no one. If I feel and think a certain way, I'm going to feel and do that certain thing. Now, whatever type of results that it gets me is up to me. Now, me personally, I try to do the best results to get me exactly where I want to be. Do I sometimes not even know where I want to be? No. I sometimes say I'm lost in the right direction. But it all comes with time. Like this whole Nesta Damus, what is his name? Well, there's this guy that comes on like History Channel, and they were talking about how he made all these predictions and that they came true. That they didn't believe it at first. Freaking A, man. That's you. You make these predictions. You say these certain things, and you don't know they're true until they happen. And then you're like, why did they happen? Because you manifested it, you goddamn motherfucker. Like, come on. Some way, somewhat, how you manifested this whole situation. Until you take full responsibility for your manifestations, you will always be a victim. You will always be stressed. You will always depressed. And you always will feel like you have no control. No control is not saying I control everything. What I'm saying is I put an intent. My intent for this group, for anything that I'm doing, is to help myself remove all blocks. Therefore, I can assist you and show you how I was able to remove my blocks, and maybe it could help you. Okay? My intent is not to be rich. My intent is not to be famous. None of that is there. My only intent is to truly, truly, truly show you that there is a different way than what is being shown, because it is not a two-way street. It is a multiple-way street. And I don't want a collision, but I want people to be aware of how they're driving and what paths they can take. And that you can make your own path. You don't have to keep following these paths that's been laid out to you. You don't have to do what everybody else has done to get to the same result. I decided to wait till meditating until 8 years after all of this. I knew that I've been energy. I knew that I am for years. I've been studying about Kundalini and your chakras for years. But I've been meditating on clear energy for years. But I finally reached out to somebody I said, hey, can you help me? I felt like I got to an energetic block. Let's co-create. So what they did was they sent us energy and assistance. I had to learn to accept help, okay? Because I don't want to be a slave to anybody. And nobody's my external God. But I came to a realization last night is that there's energies out here wanting to help the people with certain intents, and they will only help unless you ask. It's free will. So you have to, some of them will help without affecting your free will. Like they may have something that happens, right? And it's up to you whether you take advantage. Now you might say that's a miracle, but really it wasn't a miracle. It was something being done to assist you with your intent that you're already trying to do. But if you're not on the path of your spirit, of what you really want to do, you're always going to have obstacles because you don't want to do that. Like point blank, if you don't want to be a doctor and if you don't feel like you can get hired or you're promoted, that's because you don't really want to be a doctor. Why are you trying to force your intent? Because you know your intent is not that intent. It's like ass backwards. If you want to find love, but you're a shitty ass person and you don't know how to love yourself, you're going to keep finding shitty ass people that don't know how to love you. If you don't want true love, or like that person you just know and you're just happy with any type of love, you're going to get that. That's what I'm trying to say. But these are 2 videos. They're hour long. I don't even know if anybody's gonna watch them, but I just wanted to throw that information out to there. Just sharing my intent, sharing my ideals. And again, I don't think I'm right. I don't think I'm wrong. I don't think any of those things. It's just an ideal. And it's something that I've really thought about in life, about stuff. And I just want to show it and explain it to you guys because I really do care. I really don't want this world. I don't want GMOs. I don't want, radiation. I don't want wireless technology. We can do all of these things. I've studied and I know, I feel it, that we can, there's these structures where there's melted rock and there's like beautiful forms of houses built into like mountains, and the way that they're built looks like people was able to levitate, or they try to say, they don't tell people about these structures because it doesn't fit with the history that they've been telling people. You've been lied about your culture. You've been lied to about your history somehow, some way, and whatever. This doesn't happen just in America, and that's what people are failing to realize, is that all these countries have a group of lying ass motherfuckers. Like, there's a group of people that is really lying. It's just different for each area. That's like races, right? People want to think that black, white, Chinese, Hispanic is so different. No, you're not. Stop giving yourself that fallacy. You are no different. Let me tell you this. I've lived with Hispanic people. I've lived with Muslim people. I've lived with black people. I've lived with white people. They all shit, piss, eat, and talk and dress just different ways. And they all think that their shit don't stink when they all steal, when they all lie, when they all commit the same stupid ass crimes as the other race. There is nobody that is free. We're all slaves to ourselves. There's always been some type of thing out here to hurt every race. It doesn't matter what color you are. You are a being, and nobody should allow themselves to go through these things. I have met some beautiful people of all races that understand this, and we've talked about this, and they say the same exact thing. They're frustrated, and I tell them, don't be frustrated. Don't be frustrated. There's no point in being frustrated with it. Just be who you are. When I go out and hang out with my friends, I be who I am. I am who I am, which I'm not, but I am who I am. So if I go out there, if I want to hang out with a Hispanic, with a black, with whatever color, I'm going to be who I am, and they're going to be who they are, because that's what I attract to me, is people who they are. And we break all illusions right then and there. When they see us talking and we're having a normal conversation, all those pictures that they've painted in their head about how should be, or this or that. I've talked with white people that says, oh, well, I don't understand why they roll their head when they do this. I've met white people that do the same thing. Like, you're making something out of nothing, really. And it all is nothing. And that's what they're saying. Let go of your ego. Let go of all these ideals, because they are not true. There is a distinct, purposeful thing that people's been done to where it separates. And I think it is to teach us that we're not different. Do I think that but if it was just told to us that we weren't different, then we would try to be different, I guess. It's a paradox. This place is, and I think this place is where creators come to be creators. And if they master this place, they go somewhere else to make worlds. I know that sounds weird, but that's what I understand, because you have to understand what creation is to be a creator, right? So if you can't go off making worlds, and it's not like, there's layers on top of layers on top of layers. Like, it's all frequencies. It's like, once you evolve to a certain degree, you go to a certain degree. I am not scared of death. I'm not scared of dying, because I know this is not my body. This is not my mind. This is not my eyes. This is not my face. This is not my tattoos. This is not me. This is me, but it's not. I'm operating this, okay? And this bends to my will, to my being, who I am. And it bends to no other's being. But the being that's in this body, and the mind, and all the different parts of this mechanism, I've talked with it. I've communicated with it to the point where I'm trying to get it in agreement with where we're trying to go. So sometimes this body, this mind, has two different ideas about what we want to do. So I'm like, okay, I'll give you that, but this is going to keep happening. We need to find an equilibrium, okay? We need to find something to where we can align, and we can progress because I can't keep backtracking myself and then going forward, backtracking and going forward. It's like it's a never ending cycle, and I'm not going to get to where I want to be. Where do I want to be? Nowhere. So I just, it's a paradox because my life mission has no set like steps. It's just being. If I was to get fired from my job right now, if I was to lose my place, I wouldn't freak out. I've had it happen to me so many times. If the value system crashed right now and the dollar went away, I wouldn't freak out. I am the value, meaning these dollars, the yen, whatever currency you use, fruit trees, because I've read there's certain countries that, depending on how many fruit trees you have is dependent on your significance. I've seen countries where how fat you are depends on your significance. All external. I don't need anything too external to show my significance. I know I am significant. But because we're taught to believe you're not significant, when somebody says that, it sounds egotistical, but it's not. You have to value yourself so the things that you do is valued. That makes like no sense, but at the same time it does. So be who you are. Figure out who you are. Know that you are figuring that out even without me telling you that. Stop ignoring yourself. Stop ignoring your true self. Just listen to the voices in your head. That sounds crazy, but let me kind of elaborate. We all have voices, meaning when we do stuff, we have a thought process that pops up in here. There's multiple thoughts. It's not just left and right. And that's a bullshit ass lie people's been told. There's not a good way and a bad way. You have more than two voices in your goddamn head. If not, then I just got a lot of voices in my head then. But what I'm saying is that it's a point. It's like when you go to make a decision, you see point A and point B. But that is not the only 2 points there. You can make it into more. You can make it into many points. But the whole point of doing that is to figure out what your actual point is, which is your energy, which is your spirit, the thing that's inside this vessel. This is a vessel. You are the intent. The intent is source. The source is energy. The energy is frequency. It all that it is. It's nanuus, whatever you want to call it. The source, the all. But know that you have to know who you are internally to be connected to who you are. Like, you can't connect to who you are by being someone else. You're going to connect to something. You're going to get something because people wouldn't keep doing it. But you're not going to get what you're really craving. You're going to get an illusion of that. And it's never going to satisfy you, and you're always going to find fallacies in it. You're always going to find ways to dismantle it. Know that you are beautiful. Know that you are significant. And know that it is worth knowing who you are. And doing that does not mean you have to be a lifeless, boring person. Like, I see these so many gurus and stuff that makes it seem like they just sit all day and meditate. Some choose to do that. That's their free will choice. But to me, if you're meditating all day, you've completely gone internal and you forgot about the external. You're manifesting to a point, but you could do different. But everybody has their purpose, right? Their purpose really may be to meditate, and how they believe in external and internal is there very well. And maybe in the course of source, they are needed to do that. There's a balance. So some people have to do things that others don't, and they don't have to, but they feel it's their purpose because it's the balance of creation. Creation is always going to balance itself. It's always going to find, and I feel like that's what's happening is right now it's kind of like teeter-tottering, and they're teeter-tottering it to where it's all good. They're trying to teeter-totter where it's all bad. Either way is not going to bring you more to yourself. So what's happening is that there's stuff coming in to make it here, okay? And that's why, like, there's this Westworld thing out here with the episodes, and they said to get out of the maze, you have to go in the center. This is the maze, and how you're going to get out of it is by going inside. But at the same time, you're still in the maze, and you have to acknowledge it, and you still have to live within it and be within it. But you then become, like in the Westworld, you become the guest, where it doesn't affect you. They can't kill you. But anyways, that's all I'm going to have to say at this point. Good night.